What's up guys, I'm DonDoli, the game is Unravel. Let's 3, 2, 1, go. We have a lasso, which we can pull things with. We jump further if we run, which means we just need to start running after like climbing ledges and stuff. It's important to keep that in mind, that you don't jump from standing still. We can pull objects like so, and we can use our lasso as a lasso. Shockingly. Here's the first memory we'll be collecting, or you could think of it as some sort of Ghostbusters scenario, or maybe Yarny is a harvester of souls, I don't know. It's up to you. The story is like up to you for interpretation, so whatever makes you happy. You can tie knots at points like this. Tying knots has a lot of subtle effects, but the most common one is making these trampolines or bridges, basically making platforms between 2 points. You're gonna avoid these apples because they comically fall on your head otherwise, slowing you down. And yes, we can tie knots while climbing. This is sort of a tutorial area right here, so we can fall through platforms. There is fall damage in the game, so I just had to like grab my yarn tail there for a moment. I'm gonna have to deal with fall damage 7 times in the run. That was the first one. Here's like the first skip. It's not really a skip, it's like a clever solution. We're supposed to make a bridge out of apples, but I can just push the apple that's already here over and then wait until the water is high enough. And there's a weird glitch thing where... Okay, I didn't get it. Oh boy. Okay, can I salvage this? Just push the apple over. There we go. So I was supposed to climb out of the water really early there by getting into the water, climbing up onto the apple, and then from doing that you can reach ledges higher up than normal, but I missed that. But I saved it, we didn't drown, everything's fine. We're gonna do some gardening work here, pull down these thistles to get another checkpoint of yarn. No funny business with the sunflowers. And we're releasing this tricycle here. We'll be going for a ride. We're gonna be riding quite a few things in this game actually. I don't have a count of how many things actually. Maybe we can establish that at some point. But yeah, here we go. So the first level is pretty straightforward. We're just like in the backyard doing shenanigans. We're gonna have a big swinging section right here. I'm going to skip the point on the left here and go straight up to this one like so, and then in one go head over here. Just the next memory of a little girl playing in a treehouse. Memories are pretty laid back in the beginning. There's a lot of these like animations that take over control. Some of them are skippable, some of them are very complicated. That one is, well, I guess it's technically skippable, but not really. Doesn't matter. We're gonna grab this B block. As you can see, the yarn bridge can be used as a platform for objects as well. Gonna be a hedgehog in the background. Grab the B, put it next to the A. Simple stuff. That's enough to keep the seesaw down. We can make it over here. And that's not gonna work. Sort of stumbled on my way there. Up, there we go. Quite a cute game indeed. But maybe not as cute as you might think. You can make further extensions on bridges. So here I'm making a 3-point bridge. Yarn order or knot order is very important when making longer bridges. Grab this T-box, head up here, and panic. That was the first level. I actually have a little bit of control in this cutscene. I can throw my lasso and I can make a jump. Okay, I didn't get the jump. It's like frame perfect. We'll just make his walk a little bit shorter. So yeah, at the end of every level, you collect one of these badges. Here he collects a flower. He takes back to the countryside home, puts on the memory book. The memory book gets filled with text and pictures about the level you just beat. Quite a nice experience, but of course we don't have time for that. This is like the hub overworld area where we access different levels by jumping into paintings. It's sort of like Mario 64, but with a lot less yahooing. Mario 64, which is up next, by the way, so kudos to the scheduling team for making a jumping into paintings block. Gotta give it to him for that. So we're entering the sea, and this now the game sort of starts. There are gonna be a lot of unintentional strats in this level. It's just a much longer level in general. This game, it takes place in northern Sweden, near the area of Umeå, so we're gonna see some Swedish language in spots. Memory of kite flying. So here you're supposed to grab this can from the trash and use it as a platform, but we can make it up here with a tight jump like that, because we don't litter in this run. It's litterless, I guess. Fyrstigen, 5 kilometers. Fyrstigen translates basically to the lighthouse path. And it's quite cute because at the very end of the level we're actually going to get to a lighthouse. So you can see this as like his journey on Fyrstigen to get to the lighthouse. And we're going flying here. I actually have control of the kite, unlike the bike. The timer? Is it an issue? It's fine to me. Alright, so here we go. Alright, now it's time for me to focus up. I'm doing some dropping here. Alright, this thing. Then we're gonna skip a section underneath by flinging ourselves this way and then negating fall damage with some swings around to the checkpoint. I'm gonna try a fancy swing strat right here. I got it. I'm gonna avoid an animation by jumping over this branch and not get destroyed by this log. Very good, very good. The music is very good, yes. And the graphics, of course, are frighteningly lifelike. So yeah, here we have, we've reached the sea, we've reached the water. Yarny, he can't really swim. He doesn't immediately drown, but he will sink quite fast, and yeah, you won't have a good time. As you see there, though, it's fine to dip yourself a little bit if you fail to swing over in one go. Alright, so here's a series of skips. First, I'm gonna skip a platform, that log there. Yeah, it looked quite straightforward, but that's a very tight thing to reach. You're supposed to go left and around the whole thing, but with a precise swing, that's not gonna work. Sort of lost my speed on the last bonk. Try again. It's quite a significant skip, this one. Alley-oop. Oof, just barely. Technically I can skip this checkpoint, but that would be completely RNG if I'm able to continue, so we're not going to do that. Here's another skip. You're supposed to lure this crab into the water, but you can just make it over with a good jump, and then don't wreck me. Alright. Of course he would, so I'm probably going to drown. Okay, I made it out. But now it just gets more complicated, because I find this skip not as easy the second time around, but okay, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So here's the RNG in question. It's a crab. Crab RNG, and we got bad RNG, so we have to do this puzzle as intended. We would not have been able to do this part. We wouldn't have enough yarn to do this part if you skipped the previous checkpoint, so we'll feed the crabs. Here you go, sir. Okay, I'm getting slapped around a lot. Enough of that. No more slapping, it's time for Red Fred Redemption. It reminds me, if you want to donate to support a great cause, you can send in your best yarn puns, and I will pretend to hate them, and we'll all have a great time. Alright, so now we're getting this floater thing up here. Whoa, what even happened there? It's fine, don't worry, I got time. Head up here. get the floating mechanism thingamajig, put it under here, raise the mechanism, position the floater there, tie a knot. I'm gonna wait right here so that the floater goes up on the platform. When it's off camera, it can do silly things, and I'll still make the fastest cycle if I'm fast enough, because this section is based on wave cycles. Better than Ethan? Yeah, that's true. Crab RNG, yes, it's a real pain actually. Crab resets in world record attempts are quite demoralizing. So we'll take our revenge on this crab. By putting him in this cage. Lure him over, head up here, pull the handle, release the mechanism. Crab is caught. Simple stuff. It's not string theory. It's simple stuff. I do some loops here for fun as we wait for the cage. Jump here. Pull out this thing. Not sure what it is. Pull on this thing enough for... That was not enough for the thing to come out. Almost. There it is. Here you're gonna see speed. A wee. I like that. I'm gonna skip a bunch of crabs down here with some fast swinging action. And here's a very weird skip. We're supposed to like get our yarn stuck around the log to pull this thing open, but you can make it with a weird combination of button presses. Oh. Okay, it wasn't the fastest, but yeah. That's not how you're supposed to do that. And then I'm gonna get onto this boat in a really fancy way, hopefully. This strat is very weird though. He's weird too. What are you doing? Okay, try again. Climb up. There you go. And that's not gonna work. Try again. This strat is really difficult, but it's too fancy not to do. There we go. Gonna make a knot here for faster pulling. Grab this. There we go. We're on our way. Well done, thank you. Those were my puns, I'm out of them, so the rest is up to you now. Alright, launch myself off the boat, and there's the lighthouse in the background. That's the second level, almost stopped the timer. Don't do that. Yeah, it's a annoyingly fancy strat that is very prone to failing. Yeah, he's just gonna have a cute moment here, petting the fish. And now in the fade in between the transitions, there's actually like a frame or so that I have control, so I can make this jump happen to sort of destroy the cutscene. Sort of, he's not where he's supposed to be, but the things that he does are, like the effects are. This actually has a purpose in the speedrun because it positions me slightly more to the right, which just sets up for this swing here better. So we're gonna do some kind of swinging like this every time to get to the level, so... Yeah, that's a very adorable moment with the fish. Alright. So that was the sea, a place far away from all troubles. A treasured place. Now we're entering Berry Mire. Now the symbolism of this level, I believe, is hard work. So the most basic premise is like berries taste better if you go out into the woods and collect them. And then you can extend that symbolism as far as you'd like, but I feel like the level does make a very good job of like symbolizing hard work. That was not good swinging. Especially like if you watch someone play this level for the first time. They usually spend a lot of time struggling here. In fact, this puzzle right here is probably the hardest one in the whole game. But since I'm very comfortable with just the engine, I'm able to make it look very easy by doing this part right here very smoothly. And then I'm on the log. It's like there was never a puzzle at all. And then I'm supposed to bring this log with me to use it as a platform, but I can use the bunny hop that I mentioned before to get up here. It doesn't work with a normal jump, as you can tell. Alright, so we're gonna get it. There we go. It's probably not faster than bringing the log, but you gotta see that kind of stuff. I'm supposed to grab the rock on my left as well, but we're gonna make do with just this one rock by timing the jump here and believing Yarny. And coming up is like the hardest skip. Super hard to skip, ridiculous. I'm gonna go for it just once. It's gonna fail, but we'll try it. And it would have been nice if I made it straight over there. There's still a chance. There's still a chance. Maybe? Probably not. No. Alright, so we'll do it intended. Yes, those were cloudberries, which are like Swedish traditional berries, I guess. Pretty big over here. I'm pretty sure they're not like that rare. You can probably get them in stores all over the place, but yeah, very Swedish berries. So I'm gonna just leave that here. I need that log as a raft, but if I restart from this checkpoint, the raft is gonna like teleport forward for me. And from here on out, you're gonna see me spamming the lasso a lot. That's to get rid of these mosquitoes, which get in the way of your lasso and also slow you down, so you don't want that. Tie a knot here for a bridge here, and then there's gonna be another fancy strat coming up. Position myself here and okay, back up. Ideally, I would reach the point on the very top. That will let me skip tying these two knots, but it's an oddly precise trick, so that's fine. And then with a tight jump here, we can skip a part. You're supposed to go like up and swing from the top, but you can just jump across. Here all the platforms sink into the water. Grab this canister. There. Which is very odd and sometimes it just doesn't want to cooperate. I'm gonna have to pull. He's gonna like extend his lasso all the way to the left edge and then it will pop up. I don't know why it does that sometimes, but there you go. A little bit more, and there we go. Very finicky and just strange thing right there. All right, we have reached the tractor. Pull this lever so we can open the hatch down here. Another hatch here, and I'm gonna grab this point before the thing falls so that I skip an animation. Push this down. So a lot of the knots I'm tying are more complicated than they seem because I'm avoiding ledge grabs and ledge climb ups, which is quite a big deal in this speedrun actually because there's so many of them. So you really want to avoid climbing up ledges when you can. So the mosquitoes are getting really bad, but here the mosquitoes realize that this yarn creature doesn't have any blood. The moose, however, has plenty. And so we are free from the mosquitoes. This is like a berry picking device. You take it and you like brush it through bushes of berries and get the berries. Did some tight swinging there. Like it's a lot of these swings are very difficult to get like in one go. You're supposed to build up speed and whatnot. We don't have time for that. Gonna make another bridge here. I'm gonna tie a knot to this thing before the branch breaks. Then I don't have to wait for it. I'm gonna avoid dying to fall damage here. Very good. Alright, and I think that's just about enough hard work and slimy swamp for me. I'm gonna head into this clearing where the sun peeks out again. Climb this seemingly fine tree. I guess it wasn't. And here are the cloudberries. Yum. Also the end of the level. Pick up, I guess that's a mosquito, that one. Alright, so now this is probably the hardest overworld movement. We're gonna try and grab a point when it's off screen right there, and there we go. To get to this top painting right here. Level 4 mountain trek, where the sky is somehow taller. And a breath counts as 10. I'm gonna be saying weird stuff like that a lot, because those are quotes from the memory book that we're filling in. Anyway, I like this level, it's fun. It's probably the first level I was like speedrunning, because it has some cool glitches in it. The most notorious glitch of all. Alright, grab this platform up here, gonna make a bridge. So this is like the last of the, I would say, storyless levels. It's all just about kids growing up, going on trips and whatnot. Alright, hopefully I'm gonna fly straight through the next screen here. Very good. Super easy. And here's a lemming. Later, dude. So that's a very weird glitch that lets us skip going all the way around this area as you're supposed to. You're supposed to be chased away by the lemming, but I really don't know how that works. It's very strange. It's something about how the lunge of the lemming is coded, because like sitting down and exiting the checkpoint like that should not make you invulnerable to anything. Alright, now we're gonna do some fishing. Got him, boys. So yeah, the lemming glitch, it's very weird, precise timing and positioning, and I don't know, for some reason the lemming is like not physical. It's made up of triggers that pull you into an animation of being mauled by the lemming. Somehow that gets interrupted. Alright, pulling this thing this way may look like a bad idea, but it usually works out fine. Okay, there it did not, I got it on my head. Marathon lock. Alright, I'm using this as a weight for the seesaw. The seesaw, unfortunately we can't abuse it and skip it, even though it seems like we can. We're gonna do that later though with another one. This screen is more dangerous than it looks, because you can bonk walls and fall down. Alright, so no one has ever seen a lemming explode. That's an actual quote by some scientist guy. Because there's a myth going around that lemmings can get so angry that their heart explodes. But apparently that's not the case, and yeah, some biologist or something, when he was talking about that, he said the famous quote that no one has ever seen a lemming explode. I like that, especially out of context. Alright, so we're in a big puzzle screen here. You have to take the most direct path to the end, otherwise you're out of yarn. This bucket is weird, so it has a mind of its own. There you go, buddy. Drag it along with so there's weird things that happen when you use the grab your tail and throw a lasso at the same time. And one example is being able to pull that bucket really fast. Here, the tree is being pulled down by the weight of the bird, but the bird flies away in a cutscene. But if we reset during the cutscene, we can get control in the cutscene when it plays for the second time, and we can reach the branch before it goes up. So we can skip that puzzle, and you also saw me skipping a checkpoint as a result of it. There's a couple checkpoints we can skip, especially with puzzle skips like that save us on yarn, so that's always nice. I'm gonna ride this plastic bag, and it's a very weird plastic bag, because you can get some crazy boosts after you land that don't make any sense. Let's see if I get anything. It all depends on like when you let go of the bag. Okay, looks like I didn't get anything at all. That's a shame. Wait, no, there I got one. So I got it super delayed. That can happen too. I'm gonna pop this open, and this is a very risky situation here because you can get crunched between the logs. You don't want that. Alright, there we go. Bam. The end of mountain trek. There's a boot. I'm not sure why the boot has like yarn as shoelaces. Is that yarn or is it just the same color? Maybe it's just the same color. But we get the butterfly. So basically the story here was that I guess the father, he lost his boots crossing a stream and he had to use a plastic bag as a temporary boot. You can see that in the book, and that's why there was a plastic bag in the level. Yeah, that's the end of the like storyless levels, I would say. Like, as I stated before, these levels were just about the kids growing up and going to the sea, going to the woods, going to the mountain, going incorrectly to the painting. And now there's gonna be some deeper symbolism, and this is a tricky level to decipher. The theme is definitely infinity. See how many references to infinity you can spot. It also deals with goodbyes. It's talking about how it can hurt to let someone go, but sometimes it's necessary. Don't really see much of that in like the gameplay itself. But yeah. Crossing the rails. So here are two people, D and K, carving the name to the trees. Probably the kids, or at least one of them is the kids, after they've grown up a bit or something. The game doesn't spell out the story to you at all. You have to make your own interpretation. Alright, so we're gonna make our way up to this point, and then if I climb this correctly, I'm gonna do a risky strat like so. You're supposed to like make that thing stable, but yeah, I don't have time for that. I'm gonna take a little dip right here. I'm going to do a skip here. For once, this is a skip that was actually intended by the devs. You get an achievement if you do it. You're supposed to ride a raft along the water and like get the raft through various obstacles, but you can just platform your way through all this. Okay, here's the shortest yarn checkpoint in the game. I'm already out of yarn. All that because this is like a very hard-coded puzzle right here, so it has a lot of glitches and stuff, and the strat I'm going for is quite risky, but it's fancy as well. So I'm gonna try to get sort of a swing going. If I can reach, very good. Hold on, then I let go. This should release the mechanism, but I'll have a big swing going from it, so I can skip riding the raft beneath me and just swing myself this way. Looks like I'm drowning, but I'm just stuck in an animation. We're fine. Time for some high, intense platforming. Very good. Skip that point, go straight up here. Here's a wheel that we're supposed to use as a counterweight for two separate seesaws. Here's the first one. This one is very easy to skip. The second one is much more precise to skip, but we can still skip it, and that saves a ton of time. It even skips part of the soundtrack because we get past so much right there. Yeah, you're supposed to weigh that down, but we don't need that. We do need this rock though. I'm gonna bring it along. This checkpoint here becomes like an attachment point, and we're gonna make another attachment point here because the checkpoint is too close to this point. So if I tied it here directly, then there wouldn't be enough slack to push the tree, the extended branch, all the way up here, which we need to do. And eventually he'll make his way up there, and we're moving on. Dangerous rock climbing section. Whoops, that's not what you do. Alright. Gotta watch for rolling rocks. And snakes in the background. And one detail about this level I really like is like it's you can see like the sun setting. So at the start of the level it was like sunset, and now you see the sun is like almost fully down. It's a nice little detail how they made the illusion of time passing. But here I'm gonna be sliding down these rocks. You don't want to fight this too much because you'll trigger this rock early and then you have to run further down to avoid it. And here's a weird little thing. The stone is supposed to hold this branch up, but I can still climb up it if I do very precise movement. It's weird. And here's like the hardest swing section in the game, or in the run. Doing this in like one go is very difficult. Alright. Now grab it. And then I'm gonna do a bit of a fancy skip here. This doesn't really save much time, but I like it. There we go. There's a weird... Yeah, the platforming that I skipped there is not as straightforward as it may look. It's sort of a puzzle in itself, so... Just flying across the whole thing is quite convenient. From neat stories to neat stories, yes. Alright, so locks on fences. Symbolizing eternity, as does the infinity symbol here. It's funny though, because like the locks on bridges thing, you know, it symbolizes like this lock is gonna be here forever, and it symbolizes how we're gonna be together forever. Which is funny because there's like this bridge in Paris that is famous for doing that, and it had so many locks on it that like the locks added more weight than the bridge could safely support. So as a safety measure, they like cut down the fence with all the locks and like replaced it. So if they had done that anywhere else, then yeah, it would have been eternal. But because they follow the tradition, it was cut short. That's pretty funny to me. As we enter this next level, we can shoot over for any messages that may have come in.
Yeah, so we do have a $20 donation from Straight Flame, and they say yarn pun.
Yeah, that's a great one. Or no, wait, I hate that one.
There you go. Thank you so much for the donation. And yeah, just a reminder to everybody watching, we are doing this whole event for Stack Up, who is a charity that supports the mental health of veterans through gaming. So you can do command charity in the chat to find out all about that and how to donate, as obviously it's all going to a great cause. So any and all donations are appreciated. And yeah, thanks guys. Keep enjoying the run.
Thank you. Bit of a jump scare there. Thank you, Straight Flame. He's a buddy of mine. Much appreciated. Alright, so things are taking a turn to the worse. Now the story is gonna get a bit heavy. We're gonna have a memory right here of a man being pulled away by police in some sort of a protest. What is going on? Trampoline right here. We need to reach this yarn to begin with. We also need height to get over the fence. Over here. Good. So fast swinging this way. We got some folks in hazmat suits. So this is, I believe, based on real events, but I'm sure it's a bit over dramatized for effect. Basically, the north of Sweden is very rich in minerals. Okay, but first I should explain because there's an intended death coming up. So I'm gonna pull this open, and then you're supposed to hang from this branch to avoid the thing, but then the next thing triggers and the branch goes down. Oh shit. Okay. Huh. Somehow I didn't make it over there in time. I thought I was fine. Gives me some time to explain it, I guess. So there's two barrels that come rolling at you. You have a safe spot from the first one, but that safe point breaks with the first barrel, and then you have to like backtrack further to avoid the second barrel. But if I do this correctly, and they don't anticipate you swinging from this branch over the first barrel, so if I do that with sufficient speed, I can reach this point before the second barrel activates. Then I go back to activate it, and then let it kill me, and then it will just spawn me at the checkpoint. You don't have to backtrack. So yeah, Yarny, he can swim in water a little bit, but not when it's neon green. Alright, and then this next section after this is like the scariest point in the run, because it's two very difficult skips in one. I'm first gonna skip a what's supposed to be an unintended platform by doing a very weird looking thing where I suspend myself between 2 points. It's quite dangerous right here. Okay, I got it. And then I'm gonna skip the puzzle by just, you know, brute forcing. Big old speed boost. Okay, I didn't reach. That's a bummer. Not sure why, I guess my positioning was a bit off. I find that this trick is much harder the second time around for some reason. Okay, got it again. That's good. Alright, make sure I'm positioned correctly. Not sure why I'm not reaching. I guess it's a marathon thing. Really testing if I can get this first skip for a third time. Okay. He dips his toes, but that's fine. Okay, now then. There it is. And that normally looks very smooth, but not when it takes you 3 attempts. Alright, we're just riding some rocks down. So yeah, as I was saying, so the north of Sweden is very rich in like minerals and stuff, and I'm sure this this level is like symbolizing what I'm sure has happened a lot. So it's with smaller towns and villages where young people move into cities to find jobs, you know, and so villages get smaller and less populated. Okay, well, I'll explain part by part. So for now I need to use this box to get up here, then I disconnect that chain, which will give me access to it later, push the box over to this button, get over here, activate this thing. You're supposed to make a trampoline here, but with a weird jump you can make it up there, plug the thing in. Now the floor is electrified, which is why I can't push the box over later, and the box is on the button, which makes this thing happen, and we're through. So yeah, villages, young people move out to cities to get jobs, and then mining companies come in and they're like, well, we're gonna mine here and we're gonna save the place because we're gonna create a lot of jobs. And then the inhabitants are like, yeah, sure, but how can you save a place by destroying it? I don't think the game is saying like industry bad, mining bad. Hopefully they see it as a bit less black and white than that. But of course, there's stories of mismanagement, and that's never good. I believe this is based on an event that happened in 2007 in a mine in northern Sweden, where the mining company went bankrupt, and there was a lot of environmental damage and costs to the taxpayers. And that's like where this takes place. It takes place outside of Umeå. So it all matches up. So we're gonna enter this digger here. Push the chair down so that we can disconnect this thing to clear the path. There's no way past that rubble otherwise. Make sure not to get fall damage there. And that's the end of this level. We're just gonna grab this yarn spider over here. Go ahead, Yarny. Get up, Yarny. Man, this yarn boy is slow. What a disappointment. But yeah, this is like a two-part level. We're not getting our reward just yet, which is quite nice because normally after you finish a level you get put out by the book, but now it puts us right outside the level, so we can just instantly jump up here and start the next one. So yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind. Alright, it's going alright. With some unfortunate fails on that last level, but what can you do? Start out this level going left to grab this can as a platform. Needed to reach this ledge up here. Please, there you go, there you go. Alright, hopefully this level will go fast. We're gonna do some swinging action here. Get me past all this stuff up here. These are like tires, because I'm swinging from dynamite, and these are like those tire looking things to protect certain areas from the explosion that they don't want to be exploded. That was very smooth. Alright, coming up is one of the favorite skips that I found. So we're gonna enter a room that's got cockroaches all over the floor, and the puzzle is about lighting up areas of the room so that the cockroaches get scared, and you can push a chair along the floor to use it to reach the ending. But I'm not gonna let Yarny go anywhere close to those guys. We're gonna go across the top as this way and then nudge this light along just a little bit, just about there, and then position myself just about here, and then bam, bam, bam. We are across. Lovely. I love that skip. It's so basic in concept, like extend platform to make a cross gap. And it works. Now we're dealing with lightning cycles. So when the lightning strikes, you cannot stand on these wires or cables. You'll get electrified. Electrocuted. They are cycle based, so I can predict them. Okay, I was fast apparently. One more. We're good. Going for another ride. So this, I'm gonna have to do like a mid-air double jump here. It's quite weird, but basically as you're supposed to like ride that thing until you get knocked off it, and when you get knocked off it, you get bounced up into the air a bit. But you get that bounce up even if you jumped off. So you get bounced up while you're in the middle of the air. Weird, but it lets me reach that platform and the checkpoint faster. Reset here to manipulate the cycles, and then I'm gonna do a bunny hop here. The only way to survive is to bunny hop here. You can't just stand on that fast rotating piece of machinery. Whoa! Because it would kill you. You Okay, calm down, calm down, calm down, grab the checkpoint. I think I missed my ride though. Okay, that was some wonky stuff. But we survived, we just missed a cycle. But yeah, that bunny hop I did, I believe that's the fastest way past the first section. I'm gonna ride this thing along. So yeah, you see these dangerous looking things with the sparks. Those will kill you if you touch them, so gotta be careful. I'll get launched up here. Oh, I didn't get launched. Weird timing. And time my movement here so I don't get crushed by the spinning cog there. Pull this thing out, which raises this thing. There's a lot of things in this though. It raises this thing so that it holds this other thing in place. Then I can tie knots to these things and make it up to this thing, aka this checkpoint. I hate this section. This section has such good music, but you can't hear it because the sound of the machinery is so noisy. There's the bird that stole our yarn spider. Scare it away like that. Here's my favorite memory. I'm gonna just slow down a little bit so you can see it before it goes away. It's two suits fighting. Gotta love that. I'm sure that's what you expected when you started playing Unravel. Such a cute, relaxing game with suits fighting each other. Alright, going in here. There's a faster strat for this, but it's super wonky. So we'll just do it like that. Ah, peace and quiet. And there we go. That's the end of this level called How Much Is Enough. That's the end of this like industry section. Coming up is my favorite level actually. Next level is, I think there's like one puzzle that's not broken. We sort of just fly through everything else, which is quite enjoyable. But it's turned night here in the overworld, and a door is open to this second room here, where we can play the piano. And play the level called The Letter. So this level is about like how it's very easy to reach out to someone, but we still never do it. I don't know. As symbolism, it's very abstract. You don't really see anything of that in the level, in the gameplay. So, I don't know. I'm not sure. They call it The Letter. The ending has a little bit to do with letters, I guess, but yeah, we're just back out in nature again. It's later in the year. We have thin sheets of ice that we can break through. You don't want to break through it though. You don't want to get wet. This is the wonkiest trampoline in the game. I don't know why it's so weird, but okay. Well, it looked perfectly normal there. So here's a weird skip. I'm going to grab my tail as I grab that. You see how the platform sort of went up a little bit, and that's enough to make this trampoline work. You're supposed to like fix the fence by tying it down on the other side and raising the platform, but yeah, that works. We're coming up to the bird section. So the birds are random, and you're supposed to like hide from them and find openings to strategically make your way through. There is though this trick. Oh, okay, I made it over. There is a trick. The birds can't catch you when you are in your landing animation. So that's what I'm gonna try to abuse. Like, the birds are random, so they're different every time, so you don't know what to expect. Okay, this guy, bam. He should have caught me there, but he didn't. This guy I can't really avoid. Okay, and there's one guy coming, but we're fine. Alright, so that was quite a peaceful section. I didn't have to slow down, I didn't really have to do anything. This screen is great. You're supposed to do like 7 knots the intended way to get through it. Then the speedrun cut it down to 2 knots, but now we do it with 0 knots by doing that fancy swing there, pulling this thing down with a lot of slack so we can climb up here, and what room? The room is over. Skip that checkpoint because we didn't waste any yarn, so we have enough to reach the next one. These last 2 screens, they're like massive. What? You didn't grab it? Did I not press the button? Okay. Yeah, these last 2 screens are massive, but it's mostly for secrets. I have such slow swing. Okay. Yeah, we just run through them. Pull this mechanism to the right, breaks through this little opening. Alright, so here you're supposed to open the well, pull out the bucket, and use the bucket as like a helmet for protection from the birds. But again, by timing a jump before I get attacked, like so, he doesn't grab me. Keep another checkpoint right there. And it's the last puzzle of the level. Launch myself from this point, which will open that hatch. And now it's a very, like, avoiding all the ledge grabs while tying these knots is quite tricky. Okay, I got it. That's very smooth platform creation. Launch myself off that hay. The only memory of the level. Guy reading a letter. And here we see a poor magpie that's gotten itself into quite a predicament. Magpies are special birds. Unlike the crows that were attacking us earlier, magpies have larger brains than other birds. In fact, they were the first non-mammal to pass the mirror test. And I believe they are the only bird to have ever passed the mirror test, but I'm not sure. So basically they're smart enough to recognize themselves in mirrors. What they did was they put a colored sticker on like the chest of the magpie that it wouldn't be able to see just normally, and then it put a mirror in front of it. And the magpie would like try to scratch and get rid of the sticker. Then they did the same thing but with a sticker that's like the same color as the magpie, so they couldn't see it and it didn't react to it at all. So it could tell by looking in the mirror that that is himself or herself and attempt to get rid of the sticker. It's quite fascinating, so that's why we help the magpie and the magpie helps us. Alright, not too much left now. We're filling out this memory book with badges. Next level is Winter Sun. This is a really nice level. This level is just about being happy. That's pretty much all it is. Some days feel warm no matter how cold they are. So we start out going left. We need to grab this pine cone, which magically turns into a snow golem. So with that, swing across these branches. Avoid being launched by this one because we don't need to, but I'm gonna get launched by the next one, and that's actually gonna be a massive skip. I'm gonna play it safe because you only have one chance. There's like a secret up here, but I'm going to make sure to have a nice big swing. Make it up this branch here, and this skips an entire checkpoint, and it skips crazy much actually. So just get up here, toss my body down this way, We're doing yarn jokes, definitely, especially if you do them in donations. Make a bridge here. Pull this down. No. Make a bridge here as well. Riding on some mighty thin ice. Oof, oof. That's pretty good actually. You got me in stitches. Alright, so we went in there to that cozy cave for more yarn, otherwise we wouldn't be able to progress. We needed the snowball to break through the ice, otherwise we wouldn't be able to progress. Launching ourselves this way. Yet another pine cone, yet another snowball. We need it as a weight to break this branch. And oh, off we go. Game plays itself here. Nice. Avoiding the ledge grab there. Bit of a wonky swing up to this thing. There you go. Alright. Platforming here. Hopefully I can get a bunny hop to this one, but I don't have to wait. Then I'm gonna use my speed that I get from sliding down here to skip the first two parts. Very good. And across we go. And we can skip this checkpoint if he... Okay. So skipping checkpoints has two parts to it. The first is, do you have enough yarn to make it to the next one? But the other thing, which is often more difficult, is Yarny is very eager to grab checkpoints. He can, like, gets magnetized to them. So just physically getting past them can be quite a chore. Oh, okay, I got this checkpoint skipped though, which is harder, but since I picked up the previous checkpoint, I can skip this one. So it's all good actually. Alright, some ice fishing. I think that was called an auger, I think it's called. Cut through the ice. Cutting through ice like this manually by hand is requires tremendous effort. You see the saw blade in the back, like that's gonna wear you out real quick. So most ice fishing is done with like mechanized electronic cutters. Nice wildlife in the back. Reindeer, I guess. Alright, so we're gonna need to weigh down this teapot. You see it's like attached with a chain to this platform, so we need it to weigh down so that the platform goes up. Because the end of the level is on that roof over there. I'm gonna try and do a silly glitch. A silly minor glitch with the end of the level. If I can get it. First we need to get the snowball up. It's gonna be our weight. Yeah, I'm gonna waste a little bit of time when I'm up there to get a decent swing instead of just getting over to the ceiling or the roof as quickly as I can. Because if you enter the end of the level trigger with enough speed, yeah, you get a minor glitch. So let me just see if I can set it up. I think that should work. So you will notice now if it worked. As the level fades out, just before it's faded completely to black, Yarny will get pulled with tremendous force to the like bottom left corner. Let's see if I get it. And whoop, through the roof. A minor thing, but you gotta take what you can get. Oh jeez, jeez, top barrage. happened. Okay. Alright, rust. This level deals with everyone's favorite topic, and death. And how we all share the same path for a while, but we all have our own separate destinations. So the music is quite somber, and we're like in a scrapyard, so we'd see, I guess, dead cars all over the place. So here is a very precise jump, very precise. It looked like nothing, but it's very precise, and it skips very much time, because that's the only puzzle in the game where you have to do yarn management. So we skip that whole concept. Basically, you have to tie knots and then go make a knot further ahead and then go back and untie knots. It's the only way you have enough yarn to make it through. But with that seemingly innocent jump, we just skipped the entire puzzle. Alright, some fancy swinging here, hopefully. Well, that's good enough. Take those. Live forever or die trying. That's a good idea. Momentum. And big swings. And look at the memory in the back now. Bye, memory. Didn't even have time to spawn. Alright, this swing is very fast but very tricky. Oh, I got it. Very good, very good. It's just like the fastest way through that part. Roll that thing down so that we can make a trampoline over here. Now we're gonna have the largest swing in the game. The swinging mechanics are pretty good in this game, like they're quite deep. And this should work, yeah. Alright, so here the game is gonna show us that we gotta get over now. We're going to use a very powerful magnet to make that happen. So we switch it on, and then we're gonna use these controls. And I just time it right, not to waste any time. I'll move this platform over there. Now, the timing here is gonna be super precise because you're supposed to place this block and then move the magnet out of the way, otherwise it will block you from progressing. But if I time it just right, it's far enough for the block to be up there and for me to be able to get up there too. But the magnet's not going to be in the way. Also, there was the memory of an older man having a heart attack. Don't worry about that, I guess. So yeah. I should be able to jump out here. If the magnet is too close to you, it just blocks you from jumping. So that was that. I'm going to pull down this switch. Tie it down and then hold it with my lasso while I tie the second point so I can quickly climb back up to it and then over here, and then this should not kill me from fall damage because precise positioning. There was the memory of an ambulance. And now we are entering this machine section. It is a pretty dangerous area. I'm gonna push this car part. What is that? A carbon injector? Maybe? I'm not good with car parts. Okay, yeah, we're gonna surf it across this. Okay, we're gonna miss the jump apparently. What a miss. Alright, take two. This game has a physics engine, you know? Okay, I'm struggling here, apparently. I like seeing Yarny getting torn to pieces. Again. A muffler? I guess it could be a muffler. Okay, and hop. There you go, buddy. blame it on the character, not on the player. Alright, I'm gonna grab this thing. Alright, and what is this thing then? If that's a muffler, what is this little canister of something? Muffler out of nowhere. Hello? Dude, what's going on? Okay. You couldn't push it, did you see that? Was that just me? You couldn't push it. Alright, we put that there so it opens this gate. We can swing on through. Ooh, mama. Swing on through. You can skip that checkpoint, it's just unneeded, but then this is very dangerous because stuff can fall on your head, but it didn't. How do I follow? Well, you should follow the Speedrun channel, but you should also follow my channel if you want to see this game more. Over at twitch.tv/DonDoli. I actually was prompted to sell out. How nice. So this car is getting crushed. You get in here and then you panic because you don't realize you can pull this chair down and then you get crushed with it. Also, I might actually get crushed with it. Alright, that was Rust. But yeah, you can see the name of the runner on the overlay underneath where it says how much has been donated. And that's how you can follow your favorite runners. Yeah, I don't know what that yellow thing is either. I think it's a plot thing. I mean, they put in there because they needed it. Alright, we're at the home stretch, which is good because we're running out of time here. The estimate is really tight. The estimate is only a few minutes from the world record, and it's the estimate is actually 6 minutes faster than second place. So, if you want to have second place in a game, this one is pretty free. Because a lot of strats have been found since this game was actively speedrun. Alright, we're entering Last Leaf, which takes place in a cemetery. Gonna be dragging our good friend Lantern along with us. The Lantern is rich with symbolism as well. It symbolizes the past. How the past can help us cope. Past can be a strength and a solace. As you see here, he's holding on to it, protecting him from the wind. If you go too far away from this lantern, you freeze to death, like you can't move. And if you get blown away by the wind like that, you also get killed. So we need our lantern for this first part, definitely. But I'm gonna do things a bit inconveniently here, unconventionally here. Get the checkpoint, restart from the checkpoint. That puts the lantern further ahead, but more importantly, it sets the wind cycle. Something I can manage. I go ahead to grab this thing, just as the wind starts blowing. Now with correct timing, I can let go without dying, and get back to the lantern really fast like that. And now I can get the lantern up onto this next section before the wind blows again. That's quite nice. I guess that saved like a full cycle. Let's see, just barely get it up. I use this as a platform to reach this branch, get the yarn. Then I'm going to do the same thing again. Reset, which will teleport the lantern ahead and set the wind cycle. And then this puzzle here is actually really tricky because you're going uphill and the lantern will like slide down if you hold on to it. And this can be a real nightmare to get up, but since I time my letting go from the wind so well, we can just drag it up in a full cycle, and like, it doesn't even seem like I did anything special, but yeah, people can be stuck at this hill for hours, that's no exaggeration. Alright, I'm gonna try and do a really silly glitch here, which will waste a little bit of time, but it's just so funny. So this lantern, it really wants to be with me right now. It doesn't want to leave me behind. I'm just gonna take it to about here and then just wait for the wind. This can't soft lock, so I should be careful. Okay, so now we're just gonna go on ahead without it. Like I said, it doesn't want to be left behind. I'm gonna slide down this, and where is the lantern? There's the lantern. Teleported here from the sky for no reason, and then I die. Good stuff. That's my favorite way to go down that hill. So yeah, the past can help you cope, it can be a strength and a solid, but if you can't let it go, it can drag you under. That's what it was saying there. So if you hold on to that lantern forever, then you're gonna be dragged into the dark abyss. So yeah, symbolism. Alright, so Yarny is he's struggling here. This is not where he wants to be. There's no non-chaotic way to make it past this section. That's like just how it's supposed to be. And now we get to see his struggles manifest. So he's gonna have a hard time walking here. He's gonna fall over. And then he's supposed to get blown back by wind around here. But if I start doing like this reset to checkpoint thing where I sit down, he doesn't get blown back, so it saves a bit of time. And if I grab this branch really fast, again, it skips like the wind. I'm supposed to be blown back by this wind, but since I like went past it so fast, is no worry. One more fall over. I'm gonna trigger the cutscene right here. So here the game tests if you have a heart or not. Because you gotta imagine, you've played this game for like 10 hours, you built a connection to this guy, and then this. And if the developers were really brave, they would end the game here. But, I don't know. I think the players wouldn't be quite upset with them if that was the case. But yeah, every ending hides a new beginning. Life will toss and turn us, but it can only break us if we let it. It's always worth trying, every time. Again, those are the game's words. I'm usually not that poetic. So yeah, the scraps of Yarny got picked up by an unknown human. And we're back in the sunshine. Now, I like to think that this is Yarny heaven, or Yarny hell when I'm in that mood, but... Did Yarny die? Did he not? There's definitely things to make you think that he did die, because you have these, well, spirits or whatever that drag you along. But more importantly, you never run out of yarn on this stage. And also, you cannot die from fall damage. Makes me think that, yeah, you can't die because you're already dead. That's just my theory, my string theory. Okay, I already did that joke. I'm out of jokes. A bit grim. The game would be way too cute otherwise, come on. But yeah. It's like the happy ending sequence where we just fly. I would love to see a test of this stage, that would be cool. But we are reaching the very end, and not a minute too soon because we are just over estimate. I blame it on the toxic skip. Yeah, the run had some hiccups, that's for sure. But it was alright, it was alright. So here we are at the end. Back at the countryside home where we started. Carried to the window by these memories. Yeah, you don't know. You don't know. The game just doesn't tell you. Doesn't explain anything really. You have to make up your own mind. But time is here on the fade out and time. Let's unravel any percent. I'd like to give a shout out to GSA. It's a really interesting, cool organization. I really like it. The whole idea of having speedrunning tournaments is really cool. And I remember when I saw their live IRL event for the first time, Pace, I thought to myself, like, this is the future of speedrunning events, and it seemed like a bright future. So congrats to GSA for 100,000 followers on Twitch. Hope to see you guys continue to grow and put on fun events like this. And it's great that you also showcase lesser known games. Now, Unravel might not be your typical speed game, but it's still cool to see some different stuff from now and then. If you are interested in running this, I mean, I did set up a Discord for it that you can find on speedrun.com. There's not really any community around this game or anything like that. But, I mean, I'm definitely welcome to help you out if you got questions and something. I thought about making a tutorial for the game, but I don't know if there's an audience for it. So yeah, unless you want me to stall more, that was the end of my run. We got Super Mario 64 coming up with none other than Cheese05. So, it doesn't get much better than that. Here are the devs, by the way. So yeah, enjoy the upcoming Mario 64 run. It's gonna be great. And thanks for having me. Until next time.